a rock. This is a microbe condominium with a built-in buffet, and it may even give us clues to the origins of life on Earth. Formed by a meteorite hurtling through space at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, only to collide with the Earth 16 million years ago. We generally think of meteorite impact events as biologically catastrophic, extinctions of the dinosaurs or the annihilation of an entire planet. And not without good reason. The temperatures and pressures experienced during a meteorite impact event are immense, orders of magnitude higher than the most explosive volcanoes or the most destructive earthquakes. However, the complexity of the earliest signs of life on our planet suggests that life had to have arisen much earlier, during what was probably the rate of the highest meteorite bombardment on the Earth's surface. So perhaps the origin of life wasn't a gently rocking cradle, but a crucible forged from fire and brimstone. And meteorite impact rocks are pretty good homes for prospective microbial tenants seeking to escape the harsh surface environments. So imagine for a minute that you like jelly beans, and you have a jelly bean that's encased in a bowl of Jell-O, and another jelly bean that's encased in a bowl of cement. Well, it's a lot easier to dig through and get that jelly bean out of the Jell-O. Well, my microbes don't go after jelly beans, but there are a whole bunch of microbes that love rocks, and they literally eat rock. And rocks formed by meteorite impact events are especially delicious. The rock that's been processed by the temperatures and pressures experienced during a meteorite impact event is a lot closer in structure to that Jell-O than it is to the concrete, at least from the point of view of a microorganism. And those microorganisms can burrow through the rock, extracting and eating what they need to survive. And what's really fascinating is that that story of escape from the harsh surface bombardment into the relatively safe refuge deep within inside the impact rock is written in stone. It's recorded, and we can access it and study it and look at those microscopic burrows, and they can tell us not only about the types of microbes that colonize the rock, but also about the types of conditions that those microbes escaped. It can teach us about the types of conditions and microbes that may have lived on early Earth, and also on other planets such as Mars. So this is not a rock. It could very well represent the earliest habitats for life to emerge on Earth, and also the key to finding life on other planets.
So why are the rocks from the impacts especially delicious?
They're especially delicious for a couple of reasons. One is their structure. You might have a solid rock like your granite countertop. It's pretty impenetrable. And after a meteorite impact, we find that crystalline rock or hard rocks can basically be turned into a sponge. They can become so porous that they float on water. So you have an increase in colonizable surface area, and this combination of permeability and porosity leads to a much easier rock to colonize. As for the delicious part, we get impact rocks. They melt. They form from all sorts of different substrates. They're very chemically and mineralogically complex. Whereas a lot of the time, rocks that melt and form on the Earth's surface are constrained by a number of geological processes. These processes, in turn, constrain the minerals and chemistry. In an impact event, we don't have any of those constraints, so you end up with incredibly complex systems that wouldn't otherwise exist.
Okay, I'm confused. So the microbes that are eating the rock came with the rock? These are, where did these microbes come from?
So that's a very good question. It depends on the context. So if we're looking at a meteorite impact that impacts into an already inhabited system, such as where this one came from, the Reese impact structure 16 million years ago, there was already an ecosystem there, and the microbes that inhabited this rock took advantage of these newly colonizable surface areas that they could then eat their way into. So that would be microbes that were pre-existing that are now taking advantage, or they're an opportunistic species that's taking advantage of a newly created environment. However, if we have an impact into a planetary body that doesn't have life on it or doesn't have life on it yet, such as the impacts on the early Earth, we could actually be creating an environment that brings together prebiotic molecules in such a way that we can go from a prebiotic system into a biotic system.
Thank you.
Well, I'm a geologist, so just bringing a rock out on stage made me happy. And luckily you answered my question. I was going to ask you what it was, where it was from, how old it was. So thank you for answering that. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haley.